Well, he ended by saying he felt that Manchester United were very unlucky. He started by saying he thought they were the better team today. What do you think?
I disagree that they were unlucky. You know, they give up 2 goals defensively. When you look at over the last 2 games, 2 today, 4 against Bournemouth, that's not good enough. We praise them for what they're doing going forward. More of a goal threat, and again, Cunha missed a great chance maybe to get a point, and again, that would have been 2 goals for him. But the amount of chances and goals they're giving up, you're never really going to make big progress. That's all right for us, maybe a small club where you might be an entertaining club, but just you can still dig deep. They still have to find a way. And after the game, I've always felt as a player, I'd prefer the points than the praise. So there's no point coming out afterwards and saying, particularly at Man United, going, yeah, well, you know, we played really well, we were a bit unlucky. No, I'd rather come out and get, no, we weren't at our best, but I tell you what, we got the job done. And even United today, they can dig deep. They've got to be more intense when they're defending. They've got to be a bit more pride. I look at Dallo there, he getting interviewed after the game, and Dallo for the second goal, the intensity or his desire to stop a cross. And these are like big moments in a football match. It might be, again, it ends up being a poor cross, but Aston Villa, again, playing with confidence and believe, make the most of it. Whereas United are just letting teams away with it. You can't give up 6 goals in 2 matches and stand there and expect to say we're going to get results. You're just making it really hard for yourselves. And they're up against it now with people like Bruno. Okay, he's brought on a couple of younger players today. There's players away. And these are the challenges you're playing for Man United. But you can also dig deep. You can also win playing ugly. You have to find a way to do that. Because there's no good turn. Part of football is when you're out of possession, and this team out of possession are nowhere near good enough. And I don't know where that intensity, that drive and belief is to try and get a result. I don't see it. Again, I've watched United today and watched them closely recently, and out of possession, I said it before the game, teams seem to create chances and goals far too easily. There has to be a pride in when you're a player for a team to say, we're going to be hard to beat. And they're not. I think it was 18 games they lost last year.
If they were better at possession.
Well, the great example there would be the second goal. Just go in with the players tomorrow and go, listen, we're up against Villa. We have a good record here, but obviously that can come to an end as well. Villa are doing well, and they've got moments that we saw Rodgers producing moments of magic. But let's make it a bit harder for them. For a great example, if you want to analyse football, look at Dallo here. Dallo's a fullback. Look at Dallo. Look at that. And you tell me that's the intensity of a desire of a footballer to say you are not going to get a cross in. It's not as if somebody's done a brilliant trick or ran at him with real pace. They like to stand a fullback. A bit different if it was a striker back. He's a fullback. You get down low. You get your body in position. And the football is about moments. Man United don't control too many games. To be honest with you, they're trying to pick moments. But after the bus, you forget the rest of the game. They would have been training all week. They would have had their pasta. They would have had their team talks. They would have come down to Birmingham last night. And then you got a fullback who doesn't want to stop a cross. There you go. And then the player comes out afterwards, and these are important players. These are international players. You're going and you're talking about, well, we have to dig deep. No, you have to stop a cross, or do your best to stop the cross. To me, he's not doing his best to stop a cross there. And these are defining moments in a game of football. And we could talk all day about all the other bits, the lovely pretty parts, but United don't do the other bits really well in terms of rolling their sleeves up. They lost far too many games this year. This year is a little bit better from going forward as a team and being a goal threat. But you talk about any really decent team, you start about being hard to beat. We look obviously where Arsenal are at the moment, and you know it's hard to never mind get the goals, hard to get a chance. Just the last 2 games United conceded 6 goals. What chance have you got? You got Newcastle coming up in a few days. You know, Newcastle. They'll come to Old Trafford. They'll enjoy it. They'll have runners, and we'll see the desire of Man United there to try and get a result. Because you can have all the talent in the world. We mention it time and time again. But you got to roll your sleeves up, and when the game gets a bit tight or there's moments you go, I'm going to do my bit for the team. And there's too many players like Dallo who just don't do enough. I won't use the word cheating, but they're just not doing enough. And after the game, I'd be looking at him. I wouldn't be looking at the other bits of the game. I'm saying, are you going to stop it? Same for the first goal. Players, when Rodgers gets the ball wide in the first goal, we're all sitting there. We know there's danger. Do they not know there's danger? Are they a bit blasé going, do I have to do? Yeah, these are the ugly bits of football. When United out of possession, they're probably one of the worst teams in the league. In possession, of course, they're good. There's a threat. They could have scored 2 or 3 goals today. But unfortunately, part of being a footballer, particularly if you want to be a top footballer, is what you do out of possession. Everyone wants to talk about what you do in possession, what you do on the other side of it. And Man United cut corners, and they take too many risks, and that's why they're getting punished. And I'm glad they get punished. I like teams getting punished who take chances. end up letting their teammates down, their supporters down, and their fans down. And after the game, they're very blasé in the interviews. I'd be looking at players and I'm thinking they're like robots. They're like, oh well, we're a bit lucky, Bruno. No, find a way. Roll your sleeves up. They don't do that well enough, United.
And it's going to get harder for Manchester United because the report on Bruno that we heard there, as much as Ruben Amorim can say at the moment, this is the next 10 fixtures, so we don't know how much of this he's going to miss, but it came off with a soft tissue injury, and he said it's going to be a little while. But they've also got players who are going to be away with the Africa Cup of Nations. That could go. I mean, some like Mbermo, Mazraoui, Ahmad, and they potentially could get, if they get to the final, they'll be missing right up to the Manchester City game. So that's the length of time they could be away. So that plus another injury, plus players who are already missing out, means that they're kind of stretched a little bit. And then if you've got Kobbie Mainoo on the fringes with everything that's going on with him, and then he misses out on the squad today with a late calf injury, it's starting to look a little stretched for Ruben Amorim.
Yeah, I think it is. And, you look at Bruno now missing for we don't know how long. He's been the best player for Manchester United for years now. If he's now out for 4, 5, 6 games, it's going to get even tougher. And like I say, the players that are going away to the African Cup of Nations as well. Now you start looking at the squad and you're relying on maybe the youngsters that come on today. They've got no experience. Of course, they need to get that experience, but where Manchester United are at as a club, you need to get wins on the board. And the next few games that they've got coming up, of course, Newcastle at home is going to be a tough game. I think we saw that they've got Wolves, they've got Burnley. No disrespect to them teams there, but they're games that they should be winning. But when you're looking at your squad now and you're thinking, well, have I got the players to adjust and be in them positions? It is going to be tough. And, you've got to get straight back on the training pitch now and work on. Like Roy was saying, we said it before the game. Going forward, they've got players that can create chances and create something out of nothing. It's the opposite side. It's working hard. It's the intensity. It's the defending. And, we saw that on the 2 goals. We've been through it. Len Yoro could get out to the first one after Morgan Rogers' touch. You start to know players. You should know players. He's going to come back on inside on his right foot. And if you give him that much space and time, he could put the ball in the top corner like he did. The second goal is the same thing. It's Tielemans out there. You want to show him back up the pitch instead of letting him get a cross in. You're thinking, oh, maybe the cross won't amount to nothing, but it actually does. And, Ollie Watkins is on his front foot instead of Haven. Rogers gets a touch, he scores, and that wins the game. So it's the details of not when you're in possession, when you're out of possession, and the intensity and the work rate that you have to put in. And if you're not putting that in, you'll get punished like you did today.
And it means those comments that he made about young players, and he brought young player on today particularly, the comments that he made about them maybe being a little complacent and a little bit entitled in terms of expecting there to be a natural progress into the first team. It all feels a little bit more heightened when we hear comments like that about the senior pros, about the players who should be leading the line and should be the ones who are doing the work off the ball.
Yeah, and it's hard for young kids to come through. It's hard, they're playing against the rest of the world. They're not playing when we played. Now they're playing against kids from Brazil and all over South America where you can bring them in. So it's hard, but you want to bring these kids into good football teams. Do you know what I mean? When they make that jump, they got to come into a team that's flying. Do you know what I mean? Like Arsenal, when you see Arsenal, they bring Wanyeri on and Dowman, they're playing full of confidence. They look after the players. Bringing them players on now. I said to Ashley, as soon as Fletcher come on, first thing you should do when Fletcher comes on, give him the ball. Straight away, give him it, get him in the game. And it's not like that. They're all looking after themselves first. And that's why it's hard for these kids. But yeah, they might have to go another way. It'd be up to the owners of the club. They might look at it and go, wait a minute, we want youth. We need youth in the team. We ain't got money to go and buy 60, 70, 80 million pound players. We got to get these kids in. And the only way you can get them in and see if they are good is by keep on playing them. But, for me, what would it hurt playing the young kid Fletcher on against Newcastle? What would it hurt? They're not winning the league. They might get top 4, I doubt it. So give these kids a chance. Give them a chance at home. Newcastle, you're playing against a very good midfield in Bruno and Tonali. Can help, for me. So, yeah, but my big worry, when I see all them stats today, Man United, he made 1 save, I think, Martinez. And that was when Sesko should have put it over him. The other one, obviously, headed it wide. But for all them stats that were double more than Villa,
But the goals
didn't do
against,
anything.
even the league table, the goals against compared to the other, and I don't mean the top teams, I'm on about the teams in the top 12 or 13. As a manager and the staff, they must be looking at the players, and you're not about bringing young players into a senior team, but you've got a proper good senior pros. Have United got that? I don't think they have. I don't think you have 6, 7, 8 top players who will drag these kids along. Absolutely not. So, yeah, sometimes you throw the kids in, but you're like, well, good luck in this team. You showed a clip earlier about Nev and all these lads when they came through, but they were coming into a top dressing room. Proper men who'd won titles and would help these kids out. I don't know if there's enough senior players at United. The evidence isn't there that they will help these young kids because everyone seems to be looking after themselves. And if they're cutting corners, like we saw today with some of the goals, then these are the habits these young lads will be seeing these senior players do. And that is such a bad example for these kids to have.
Well, if you're playing at home to Newcastle on Boxing Day and Martinez plays in front of Fletcher, if you're sitting there as a kid, you think, what's the point in being here? What's the point playing a centre-half as a centre midfield player when I'm coming through? You know, he can play. He's a good player. I've seen him play. Give him a chance. Give him a chance this weekend. You know, what the worst thing that can ever happen is he has a bad game, like most of them have every other week. So you're not losing anything, and it helps. The fans go home. They go, you know, well, at least we've got one of our youngsters coming through, and they see something. Can't keep on buying 50, 60, 70 million pound players, you know.
And when we see United losing, we will obviously look at excuses for United, but it's Aston Villa's day today. 2 world-class moments, a team that's on the up, a lot of momentum, a world-class manager. So it's thumbs up to Villa today, and maybe United will have to, again, reflect and have a look what they're doing and stop cutting corners.
And having said all that, Manchester United still only 3 points off the Champions League places, so not all doom and gloom necessarily.
Morgan, a special win for the club that will be remembered for a couple of unbelievable moments delivered by your right foot. What does it mean to decide and light up a game like this?
Yeah, it's massive. Every game's important against no bigger team than United. They come here to play, and they're a tough team to play against. We've not had a great record against them recently, so we knew we wanted to put it right, and yeah, we're just really happy with the 3 points.
Flew you down the whole end, sharing the moment with the supporters. Is it just like the best bit about being a footballer, just those few seconds after a goal or after a win like that, where you get to have that moment?
Yeah, the fans make football. Playing with no fans or playing with fans is 2 completely different sports. It's so enjoyable playing here. We've got the crowd behind us. We're really strong at home, and you can see in our performances. So, yeah, each and every one of them, they come here every game and make it a great place to play.
I tell you what, just looking at your goals today, you don't half make it look easy. Does it just come very naturally to you, or do you work on it again and again in training?
Yeah, it's hard work. It's long hours. You want everyone to go in the top corner like that. So it's nice when it does go in. Yeah, you just got to keep trying and trying. Sometimes it's your day, sometimes it isn't. And luckily lately it's been my day, which I'm happy about. So
it has been your day an awful lot. I was sat right behind the first one, and it just looked like there just wasn't a shred of doubt in your mind, like it was only going one place. Is that kind of where you're at with your form right now? It just feels almost like you feel unstoppable.
Yeah, I'm feeling really confident. I'm enjoying my football, but not just me, it's the team. The team's performances, the team give me that confidence, give me that belief, and allow me to be me, and that's the most important thing. And team performances are getting us the wins, not just me. So yeah, big game, big win.
And you're right at the top table of English talent right now, battling for your place in the England team with some unbelievable footballers. How much does that drive you on, just wanting to be the best of the best?
Yeah, massively. That's why I play football. I play football to try and fulfil my potential and be the best version of myself as possible. And I try my hardest. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and I live with the results. But yeah, I just keep working hard, and wherever it takes me, it takes me.
Yeah, and hard to sort of not think about the title after a run like this, or at least being in that battle to the end.
We'll let everyone else make that.
We'll have a go at that.
Yeah, you make them conversations, not us. We're firmly focused on what our tasks at hand in each game.
Well played today, unbelievable. Player of the match.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Let's chat to Gary Neville, because Gary's had a busy weekend. He's at Villa Park for the big one today. He was at Tottenham-Liverpool yesterday. Gary, hi there. First of all, can we unpick some of the chaotic events in North London? So much to go at. Isak's injury, the conduct of the Spurs skipper. Let's start with that, in fact. Christian Romero, if you were his manager, would you be considering removing the armband after what happened yesterday?
Yeah, you said the word chaos or chaotic relating to Romero. I mean, he is Captain Chaos. I think that he in possession of the ball, he basically makes a mistake, he then goes charging after it, he's at fault for the first goal that Liverpool score, and then beyond that he just cannot get his head back. His head's gone completely, he doesn't get his composure, he then tries to win every single tackle on the pitch, take every single throwing, take every single, jump for every single header, and it becomes a bit of a mess, and he just retaliates. And look, I think if you're Thomas Frank, you want your captain to represent you at all times. He's a fighter, he's got passion, but he's very reckless, and I have to say, he lets his teammates down and his fans and manager down on a regular basis.
Let's move on to more positive things. Aston Villa's form, 15 wins in 17, third in the table. Are they genuine title contenders, Gary?
I don't think they are, but what they do have, I think, is an outstanding manager, probably after Pep Guardiola, the best in the league, and I think that's the reason that they're up there. I'm not sure the quality of managers at the top clubs, apart from Pep Guardiola, is at the level it has been when we used to have Klopp, Conte, Pochettino, Mourinho, sort of those types of managers for a period. Tuchel, they were born winners, those managers with great records. I think Unai Emery, after Pep Guardiola, is the best manager in the league, and he's one of the big reasons why Villa find themselves up there. But I just don't think they've got title credentials. I think they'll finish in the top four, they'll be consistent, but won't quite get there, I think, near Arsenal and City.
Gary, I had a strange experience on Monday night. I went to your old club, Old Trafford, for Manchester United Bournemouth, and came away entertained. What was going on?
Yeah, completely different than the previous couple of games against Everton and West Ham. It was thrilling on Monday night, and I said at the time that whilst the result's not great, I can live with that. Walking away from the game at Manchester United, you want to be entertained, you want to see attacking football, you want to see some element of risk, and we saw that. And it'll be interesting to see whether they can replicate that today. Not having Ahmad and Burmo, obviously they've lost those two players to AFCON, leaves a massive hole in their team, and they can't fill it with players with anywhere near the same level of attacking quality.
And a final question. On the title race, we're almost at the midway point of the season. If I ask you here and now who your title favourites are between City and Arsenal, who are you plumping for?
I'm not going to change. I'm going to stick with Arsenal, but just.
Great that you could join us. Thank you very much. Happy Christmas, and
Thanks,
thank
John.
you for leaving so much chocolate here for us to eat from your recent visit. We are
Thank you very
yumming
much.
it up.
Leandro Trossard proved to be the perfect antidote to Arsenal's attacking frustrations, following Mikel Arteta's candid remarks about Victor Gyökeres. Gyökeres may have struggled to truly impress since his summer arrival at Arsenal, but over the weekend, there was finally a glimpse of what he is capable of. More importantly, Trossard showed exactly why he could be the key to unlocking the Swedish striker's full potential during Arsenal's hard-fought 2-1 victory over Wolves at the Emirates Stadium. The 31-year-old winger injected fresh energy into Mikel Arteta's side on Saturday night and helped breathe new life into the Gunners' attack. Shortly after replacing Gabriel Martinelli in the second half, Arsenal found the breakthrough. While Trossard did not directly contribute to either the opening goal or the dramatic stoppage time winner, his influence on the game was undeniable. Trossard took control of proceedings, dictating the tempo and pulling the strings down the left flank. Time and again, he dismantled Wolves' compact defensive setup, releasing Miles Lewis-Skelly into space, picking out Declan Rice on the edge of the box, and crucially, feeding Gyökeres with intelligent, well-timed passes. Operating as a creative hub, the Belgian showcased his playmaking qualities, delivering sharp, purposeful distribution. His introduction completely shifted the momentum of the match, and for the first time in weeks, Arsenal's $64 million striker briefly looked like a genuine threat. Before Trossard's arrival, Gyökeres endured a frustrating and ineffective outing in attack. In fact, the Belgian was the only player to carve out a clear-cut opportunity for the 27-year-old forward, slipping a simple yet incisive ball in behind the Wolves' backline. Gyökeres controlled the pass, beat his defender, and aimed for the far post. Wolves goalkeeper Sam Johnstone was beaten, but the Swedish striker saw his effort agonizingly drift just wide. If Arteta truly wants to get the best out of Gyökeres, then granting Trossard a more prominent role in the starting 11th could be the solution. Speaking to TNT Sports after the win, the Arsenal manager openly addressed the challenges facing his marquee signing. "It's a collaboration between the two," Arteta explained. "He was in some really good positions, but the ball didn't arrive quickly enough, accurately enough, or with the precision a number 9 needs to score." But his commitment and intention were there, and we have to keep pushing. Arteta was equally vocal in defending Gyökeres prior to the match, urging patience with the striker's adaptation to English football. "There was huge expectation because we were signing a proven goal scorer, probably with the best statistics in Europe," Arteta said. "But he's coming into a different league, the most demanding league in the world. What happens if he doesn't score in 5 or 6 games? That was the only question I asked him. How are you going to react if you don't score in 5 or 6 matches? Can you handle that? And what about the next 100 games? That's what people need to see. The sample size is still very small, so leave him alone. Let him do what he does best. Support him, and I'm convinced things will come good." That message from Arteta resonated beyond the Emirates. In the days following the Wolves' victory, the debate around Gyökeres intensified among pundits, supporters, and former players. While some questioned whether Arsenal's record signing is truly suited to the Premier League's pace and physicality, others pointed to the structural issues around him rather than the striker himself. Much of the post-match analysis focused on Arsenal's chance creation and balance in the final third. The Wolves game highlighted a recurring theme this season. Gyökeres often makes the right movements, but the service into dangerous areas has been inconsistent. When Trossard entered the match, that problem briefly disappeared. Arsenal suddenly looked more fluid, more unpredictable, and far better equipped to supply a traditional number 9. Former players speaking on television and radio were quick to note the contrast. With Trossard drifting inside and linking play, Arsenal's attacking shape became more compact, allowing Gyökeres to stay higher up the pitch and occupy central defenders. That, in turn, created space for midfield runners like Rice and Ødegaard to arrive late in the box. It was a glimpse of an attacking formula that Arsenal have rarely sustained this season. The reaction from supporters has been equally divided. While frustration with Gyökeres' goal return remains, there is growing appreciation for his work rate, physical presence, and willingness to press from the front. Many fans now see Trossard as the missing connector, the player who can translate Gyökeres' movement into genuine scoring opportunities. Internally, Arteta faces an important decision. Persisting with a front line that isolates Gyökeres risks damaging the striker's confidence, especially with tougher fixtures on the horizon. At the same time, promoting Trossard to a regular starting role could mean reshuffling wide positions and reducing Martinelli's minutes, a bold call that would not come without consequences. Yet football at the highest level often comes down to chemistry rather than reputation. The Wolves match suggested that Arsenal's most expensive signing may not need drastic changes to his own game, but rather the right supporting cast around him. If Arteta embraces that idea, Gyökeres' slow start could soon be remembered as nothing more than a difficult adjustment period. For now, the pressure remains. Goals will ultimately define Gyökeres' Arsenal career, and patience in North London is never unlimited. But with Trossard offering clarity, creativity, and calm in possession, Arsenal may finally have found the key to unlocking their striker and turning promise into consistent production.